I am live. I am live. All right. So this is a different one. Kia ora whanau. Machu here. Welcome to TIkitiki Tuesday Tune Up, number 6. Now, I'm doing it differently today. I'm doing it on YouTube for a change. It's been a bit tricky with Facebook, especially last week. It was all glitchy. And tonight I'm going to do it a bit differently. I'm not sure how it's going to work out. I'm not sure if people are going to find me, but that's okay. I will persevere and I will show up and I will do what I do. Just looking for that reassuring thing where the 0 eyes turns into at least 1. But I'm going to start. Oh, there's 1 there. Awesome. Okay, that's enough. Kia ora 1 person, whoever you are. Okay, so I'm going to get started. Ati hei mauri ora. Tuatahi kei te mihi atu ahau ki a tātou. Ko hui mai nei. I tēnei wāhi, I tēnei wā. Nei rā te mihi aroha ki a tātou katoa. Te mihi tuarua ki ngā mate pāna ki rungi a tātou, ngā mate haere atu rā. Ka hoki ngā mihi ki te hunga ora ki a tātou katoa, tēnā rā tātou katoa. So greetings everybody, welcome, thank you for joining. Now, I just have to say before I start, I've been doing this a few times, and every time, and this time's no different, before I start, I'm really nervous, and I question why I do this, and I question, oh, that's a big enough question, really. Why am I doing this, and what do I get out of this, and what would anyone else get out of this? But I'm going to do it anyway, and usually I start like this when it's beginning. I start with my guitar in front of me and I sort of muck around, and I realized tonight that I'm doing that to sort of protect myself, like this guitar is some sort of shield. So I started off tonight without a guitar, protecting myself, because I wanted to be as vulnerable and open as possible to all the people out there who are starting to show up. And I'm also not sure how it's going to work comments wise, because usually on Facebook you see the comments. I'm not sure how that's going to work, but that's okay. Maybe if someone could send a little message or a comment to let me know you're there, because I'm still nervous. I'm still questioning why I'm doing this. All right, anyway, moving on. Te kaupapa o te pō, the theme of the night. So kaupapa is the Māori word for theme or purpose. And te kaupapa o te pō, what lifts your vibe? What lifts your vibe? What lifts your vibration? Now, I want to make it clear, for me, it's not about necessarily what makes you feel good, because sometimes we do things that make us feel good, and then straight after we do it, we feel like shit, or the next day we feel like shit. So it's a bit deeper than a quick fix on what makes you feel good. So that's where I'm coming from tonight. What lifts your vibe? And it might be doing something you're passionate about. It might be a hobby. And quite often we don't always give much time to the things that we're passionate about or that lift our vibration. So that's the theme of tonight, and that's the call that I'm putting out there to people. What lifts your vibe? Because I've noticed my vibe has been quite up and down throughout life, but especially in the last few months. It's been quite a challenging time. So I've had to really look at doing things that support my modi, my life force, to be lifted. Yeah. Anyway, I have a disclaimer. I also want to make it really clear that I don't know everything that's going on. Definitely don't know everything that's going on. And I know that I have a voice and I use it. And I've been sharing over the last few months. Well, I've always been sharing as a musician, as an artist, how I feel and sort of current things that are going on in the world. And I've been doing that in the last few months. And I know that the narrative or the media says something, and I'm pretty much saying something different. but I don't really know. You know, I will see things and they resonate with me or not, or things that look like they're really happening or they're not really happening, but I really don't know. And I'm wanting to be okay with that, because it's not about being right. So I don't know. And I think that's an important thing to acknowledge, that we don't know. So therefore, Toku Waiata Tuatahi o Te Po, my first song of the night, is called I Don't Know. And I'm actually going to be saying and singing a couple of things that I did last week, but last week was so glitchy, it felt like it was a failure. So I feel aroha, I feel love for anybody that actually tried watching it last week and stayed with it. Some people said it was driving them crazy. I can totally relate to that because it was so not flowing. So I'm going to swivel us around and we're going to sing a song. Feel free to sing along with me at any point if you figure out what the words are up to. Thank you for being here, beautiful people. All right. I'm gonna turn it up a little on my speaker, yeah. All right. Yeah. This is one of these things I don't know. This is one of these days I don't know. One of these tricky situations I don't know. And it's okay that I don't know. And I keep moving on day by day. And I'll keep going stronger, believing that I find my way. I'll keep asking for directions. I keep reading signs, knowing there's perfection. When the time is right, I'll make up my mind. This is one of these things I don't know. This is one of these days I don't know. One of these tricky situations I don't know. It's okay, I don't know. And I'll keep moving on day by day. And I'll keep going stronger, believing that I found my way. I'll keep asking for directions. I keep reading the signs, knowing there's perfection. When the time is right, I'll make up my mind. Yeah. This is one of these things I don't know. This is one of these days I don't know. One of these tricky situations I don't know. It's okay, but I don't know. It's okay, but I don't know. Oh, I really don't. I just really don't know. It's okay. I don't know, and that's okay. All right. Well, kia ora, you 5 people that are watching. I don't know if you can share this on YouTube or whatever, but feel free to do that if you can. Feel free to send a message if you can. But anyway, I'm going to charge on because I can always show this later to lots of other people, but I'm really grateful you guys are here. Oh, now we're down to 4, and that's okay. All right, so this is what I've been feeling. All the stuff going on, I really feel that it's so important that we take care of this, that we take care of ourselves. We look at the planet, we look at the global population, we look at nature, but I really feel that we've got to start here. We've got to start with ourselves, and it's game on. So I was thinking about, that beautiful movie Avatar. Avatar is a bit like video games, a bit like gaming, where you sort of create this character and you send them out into battle, or you send them out to play sports, and you want them to be as strong as possible, and you want them to be healthy. You give them health, and or you might want them to have speed, or you might want them to have these different qualities that make them really valuable, usually for their team. So I want to be a valuable team member. I want to be as valuable as possible for the team. And the team for me is everybody on the planet. I'm really clear that I'm here for everybody on the planet. And for me to be a valuable contributing member to that team, I need to be in the best shape possible. Like if I was in the All Blacks, it'd be no good if I was unhealthy, unfit, selfish, didn't know how to communicate with the people around me. But if you think about it, we're in the biggest game of our lives right now. There is no bigger game than the game of life. And I'm really committed to working with my avatar. And I look at myself like this avatar, and it comes right down to what can I do to keep myself strong, to be the ultimate rainbow warrior that I could possibly be in this game of life that we're in. And for me, I've been doing an okay job of looking after myself spiritually, mentally, physically, emotionally. Been doing an okay job. I've been getting by. But I've realized that, especially with the intensity of the game we're involved in right now, that I'm in an accelerated course in self-care and self-love. And I think it's the same for a lot of us. And I break it right down to the food that I'm putting in my avatar, the water, the environment that I'm around. Am I getting enough nature time? Am I around the people that are going to nurture me and support me and challenge me, but challenge me in a really healthy way to be the best that I can be? And I'm not always doing this. And I'm really clear and aware that a lot of the things that I share, a lot of things that I sing about, I'm singing them because I need to listen to them myself. I'm far from perfect. I'm far from perfect. So far from perfect. But I'm also I'm a perfect cracked egg at the same time. And there's things that we can do for ourselves that we just got to do them. We got to find ways to make this stuff happen. We got to actually get ourselves into the best shape. As in body work, I can't remember the last time I had a massage. So we got to get massages. We got to create, either pay for them or create some sort of deal with the people around us, or find ways of massaging ourselves. But we got to work on our bodies. Breath work is something that I'm getting into more and more. So valuable, so precious. And it's so ironic that people are being harassed for covering their faces with things that are stopping them from breathing properly. That's rather ironic. So breathe when you can. And I'm not a believer in the masks. That's pretty clear if you haven't been listening to me. Not a believer in the masks. And I don't like where they're coming from, and I don't like what they stand for. And I'm definitely not a fan of the division they cause, where some people are like, if you're not wearing a mask, you're a bad person, or you don't care about us or the elderly. So don't wear masks. If anything, if it comes down to it, I think I'll get a face paint face-painted mask. But I don't think it's going to come to that. I'd rather actually just show people that I'm not going to conform. Anyway, coming back to the list of things that we can do for ourselves. Quiet reflection. Some people, we call it meditation. Hugely important. Or it might just be sitting down, reading a book and taking time to relax. Healing. We've got some healing to do. So if we're going into, if you're going into a game, you don't want to go into a game with trauma. You don't want to go into the big game of life with wounds, with things that are broken, with things that are holding you back. And I'm not just talking about physical. When I'm talking about trauma, quite often emotional, psychological stuff. We need to find the healing that we need. We need to source that healing. And we need to remember and believe that we are our best healers. We might not necessarily know how to heal ourselves, but we are our best healers. I've started watching again that beautiful movie Heal. If you haven't seen it, Heal. I'm going to post some links to different things, including the movie Heal. I'm going to try and post some links anyway. Okay. So yeah, we can heal ourselves. Speaking of trauma, for the men, for the brothers out there, it's really important that we talk about our stuff. We talk about the stuff we've been carrying. We talk about the stuff that we don't want to talk about. It's really important for our men to talk. We grew up with fathers quite often that didn't talk because their fathers didn't talk, and they bottle stuff up. And it doesn't always come out in the best way at the best time. So we got to talk, brothers. We got to talk. We got to get with other men and be vulnerable. And it's a beautiful thing. So I totally recommend men's groups. You can create your own men's group. I find that like a fortnightly thing, 2 hours, have a round of check-ins. Anyway, I'm not going to tell you to do men's groups. There's beautiful ways of doing it. Women are really good at talking with other women. Much respect to the sisters for leading the way on that. Another thing we can do is hugs. Hugs are so good. We need hugs. Underestimated. And we need those 20-second hugs, and man, they can feel like a long time. Especially if you're hugging someone that's not your lover or your child or something. But hang in there 20 seconds, and that's where the oxytocins come, and that's where the medicine is. So get your hugs on. Apparently 10 a day is the minimum. I haven't had 10 today, so I better go and catch up with my housemates after this. I think I've had about 5, so we need to up our hugs. Let's make hugging normal and socially desirable, not just acceptable, but desirable. Oh, this is the bit that always makes me a little bit awkward on my list. I've got self-pleasure. That's something that can lift our vibe. That's something that can soothe our bodies. That's something that can really make ourselves feel really good. And it can also help us when we do it properly and we do it in a healthy way, such as my brother and sister, Simon and Dara, do with orgasmic yoga. Check them out. It can really heal things, and it can really support the way that we interact with others sexually in really conscious ways. So I highly recommend a healthy, committed, self-pleasuring practice. And then, of course, moving from that on to sex with other people, consensual, loving sex can be so good and very good for your vibration. So I highly recommend that. And just finishing off this talk about avatars, about getting your player in the best possible form so they can go out into the game of life, into the sports field of life, and be an ultimate rainbow warrior to lead the way for their community, for their team, for the planet. It reminds me of when I used to play rugby league. I played rugby league from the age of 19 through to about 35. I stopped at 35 because I was getting injured pretty much every year. That's just the way it goes with that sport. Very violent. But it was really good for me as a young man. I got to release all that testosterone. I got to have some sort of battle, some sort of fight in a healthy space. And I got to have this camaraderie with my brothers and for my community that I was representing. And I was a good rugby league player. I was pretty big and I was pretty strong, not that fast, but I was a team player and I had some potential. And this is what I did. I had this story and I said, when I make the Kiwis, I'm going to train so hard. I'm going to be such a disciplined trainer when I make the Kiwis. The Kiwis is the New Zealand rugby league team, the best of the whole country of Aotearoa. Funnily enough, I never made the Kiwis because I had it completely around the wrong way. If I'd trained really hard, I would have had a chance of making the Kiwis, but I had it all around the wrong way. And here we are. It's like every single one of us in this world right now has been put onto the field. You've been chosen to be in the ultimate team, facing huge opposition. And some of us are super ready, and some of us are like, oh, fuck, what's going on here? Some of us have been caught by surprise. Or even people that knew what was going on and been taking care of yourselves. It's still quite full on to be on this field and this team right now. So much respect. It is game on. It is game time. And it is the big game of life. And we've been chosen. That's something that's really important to remember. I'm not just me. You're not just you. We are at the apex of all of our ancestors. Every single one of them. Since the time that ancestors began existing, down to me, down to you. We are the chosen ones that were chosen to be alive as representatives for all of our ancestors. We are the chosen ones that have been put onto the field, have been put into the big game, have been put into 2020. What a privilege. What a responsibility. So, just think about my ancestors and that they've been living their lives and giving me a chance to be born. My parents give me a chance to grow and be healthy. There's a responsibility there. But I don't want to carry that like a heavy burden. It's like, okay, I'll step into that. But I'm not going to be a bystander. So, I just want to finish off some stuff around the self-healing. And one thing that's really clear at the moment, and this is something I'm grateful for in this time. There are some things I'm really grateful for. There's some things that I'm still yet to understand how I could be grateful for them. But a couple of things in particular. One is all this stuff around vaccinations. And it's really clear that the big pharmaceutical companies, who are some of the most powerful organizations on the planet now, their main goal is vaccination. They're using vaccination as the cure to everything. And that's quite startling, and a lot of people are buying into that, and a lot of people are like, what? We've got all these natural medicines, we've got all these natural ways to support our immune systems. So it's really bringing that conversation right up to the top, and there's no avoiding that conversation anymore. We've got so many alternatives to vaccinations, and this is making people really appreciate the alternatives that we have and appreciate that we currently, a lot of us, have access to healthy medicines. I won't say alternative. I think vaccines are an alternative medication. I think the ones we've been using for thousands of years, that we still have the wisdom for, that we can access that wisdom and those plants before they get patented. I think it's really important that we honor and we strive to have them be what we put into our bodies to be healthy. I think that's been highlighted by this current pandemic that people are seeing that we need to hold on to what we got. Because there's got to be a better solution than vaccines, because vaccines are being proven more and more now that this stuff's all coming up. They've been proven that they are damaging people. And they're so damaging that the vaccine companies have arranged it that they cannot be held accountable for illness or death anymore. That says a lot. And there's still billions and millions and billions and millions and billions of dollars being paid out. But now it's by the governments, because these companies are not held accountable. You can't sue them. There's no avoiding this issue anymore. So, you can take the easy road of believing Big Pharma. That's a very easy way. You can just believe, just go, okay, I'm going to listen to what my Minister of Health says. I'm going to listen to what my Prime Minister says. I'm just going to believe them. That's easy. I'm just going to watch the news. That's an easy option. Or then there's the even lazier option, which is sitting on the fence. And some people do that as well. They're like, oh, I don't know. Well, if you think about it, how comfortable is it to sit on a fence? And I don't want you to picture a wooden fence that's that wide that you can sit your ass on. I want you to be realistic. Most of the fences on the planet are made of wire, and some of them have got barbed wire going down the middle. If you're going to sit on the fence, I invite you to imagine sitting on a barbed wire fence. Then contemplate, how long do I want to sit on that fence for? Then you'll see how uncomfortable that really is, and how unrealistic it is to actually sit on the fence. It's time to choose, and neither side's that nice, because on one side you're giving your power away. You're saying, okay, vaccinate me and my family so I don't have to think about it. I will conform. Give me a mask so I don't have to go against the grain. That's not a very nice option. But over this side, on the other side of the fence, is the option of going against the narrative, going against most of the population, going against, in some cases, the state, the police, the health system, the crowds, and speaking up against the narrative. That's not very comfortable either. So I understand why some people want to sit on the fence. But if you're on the fence, you're not alive. You're not actually being. And if you're over this side where you give away your freedom, give away your rights to the system, you give away potentially give away the health of your body and your children's bodies, you're not alive. You're not being. I believe that you're only really living, you're only really being, as uncomfortable as it might be to even contemplate, let alone do, is to make a choice for your health, make a choice for your children's well-being, to make a choice to stand up, speak out, and not put up with this shit. Yep, that's what I reckon. That's called being. That's called living, even if it's going to be challenging. It's all fucking challenging. Especially sitting on a barbed wire fence. Don't recommend it. And if you still want to sit on that fence, I invite you to picture it rusty barbed wire. Oh, kombucha, I think. Okay, family. You committed 11 human beings that I can't see any comments from. I don't know what's going on. It's all new. I don't know what's going on. It's all new. Maybe I'll see some comments later. But I see eyeball with the number 11 on it. And that brings me great peace. Okay. So what do? We love. And I'm not just talking about a fluffy word. Love for me right now is what's going to make the difference on this planet. It's not a word or a concept. For me, it's a mighty force. It's a mighty force that can break through all this division, break through all this I'm right, you're wrong, break through all this cloudy, what's really going on here. Love is what we really need more than ever on this planet. And it feels good and it sounds good, but there's a cost. There's a huge cost if you want to live in love. There's some things you need to be ready to let go of. And the first one for me is judgment. We need to be ready to let go of judging ourselves and judging others if we want to live in love. We also need to let go of hating ourselves and hating others. Because you can't choose who you're going to love and who you're going to hate. Because you're not really living in love if your love is selective or if it's conditional. And that's a big thing. Because I've got a pain body, I've got an ego, I get pissed off, I get annoyed. Quite often, to be honest, I get pissed off and react the most to the people I'm closest to, which is a very embarrassing thing to admit. That just seems to be the way that it is. Not sure what that's about. But love is what we need to do. And we need to find ways to express love. I find one of the easiest ones is to do this. Oh, Carlos loves me. He's about to come into the door. Wait there. Kia ora, bro.
Kia ora.
Welcome, welcome.
How's it going?
That's all good.
Is it going?
Well, it looks like it.
Sweet.
Yep, it hasn't got a spinning wheel of doom on it.
And but you have no people's comments.
No, have you been checking it out?
No.
Right, but there's 9 people watching.
Kia ora, 9 people.
Yeah, and of course, oh, there's Carlos. See, look, there's an eyeball with 9 on it.
Awesome.
I haven't
But
got
you don't know who
comments.
that is. No.
They're beautiful human beings.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're beautiful, gorgeous, stunning specimens of humankind, and they are here. Are you going to go online and see what's happening?
I'm gonna check it out.
Okay, cool. I was just talking about love.
Ah,
Yeah.
love is a general thing.
Well, I was more like a force, like a real tangible, powerful force that can break through. And I was just saying one of the simplest ways of being loving is to smile at people and to wave. Smiling and waving is so important right now, especially if you're in a place that you don't have to be wearing a mask. Let people see that, because people are freaking out, especially if you're looking different from them. So I highly recommend. It's on YouTube, by the way, not on Facebook.
Not on Facebook.
No.
So how do you promote it?
I say go to my YouTube channel.
You just do. Okay.
Yeah. So if you go to Machu Tahuki or type in TIkitiki Tuesday Tune Up, see what happens. Something like that. We're learning as we go. Still 9 people. God bless you. So you love. And so we got to let go. And I was also saying, bro, that to be loving, we've got to let go of self-judgment, judgment of others, and hate of ourselves and hate of others. I can't be loving if I'm hating on myself or calling myself names. And the biggest one is fear. And the greatest fear that we're dealing with right now is fear of death. We've been told to fear death above everything else. And human beings are quite fearful of death. Fair enough. That stuff can help keep you alive if you're fearing death, but it can also stop you from living. And people are quite often giving away their freedoms and their rights and acting like quality of life is not as important as avoiding death. And I don't believe so. I think quality of life, if you don't have a quality of life, then you're not really alive. Anyway, so let's get rid of this fear of death business.
I'm trying to log in and I can't. I'm really sorry.
That's okay.
It's just not working.
I trust. Now we're up to 10 people.
Sweet.
Yeah,
Then
we're all good.
I'm going to let go of my phone.
Yeah, we're going to let go of that. Awesome. Okay, So we're going to have another jam soon. I'm going to let the bro set up. There's a chair over there and a chair over there.
Sweet.
And soon we're going to have another special guest joining us, Leo Mufasa Murray. Yeah, he's in town and he just had a big feed with us. And he's going to come and sit on the couch and he's going to have a chat about some cool stuff. I got some other talk about love. It's really important that we love the police right now. Those fellas have got so much authority. Well, no, I'm going to rephrase that. They're in a really powerful position for the future of our planet. And it's really important that they're on the side of the people. And for a long time, there's been a thin line between the police being there for the people and the police protecting the state. So I think it's really important that we love up our police. And if we see them walking down the street, give them a smile, say hello, and say something along the lines of, thank you for looking after the people. And just dropping that seed into their hearts. Thank you for looking after the people. Thank you for protecting the people. Because there may be a time, either near future or way down the track, who knows, where they're given orders that aren't in line with looking after the people. And there may be a moment where they're given those orders and they think, those people have entrusted me to look after them. What am I going to do? And that may be the tipping point that has them saying, no, I'm not going to follow those orders. I'm going to go and look after the people, starting off with my family or my community. So I've got one friend who I used to go to school with. I haven't seen him since my school days, but we've interacted on Facebook a couple of times, and I sent him a couple loving messages last week, just thanking him for the work that he does, for putting his body on the line, acknowledged the fact that one of his colleagues was shot dead a week or two ago, and gave him big ups and told him how important it is that we have people like him looking after us and coming from his heart and thinking critically at this moment. So I think we need to remind the people around us, our police in particular, that they are so valued and they are in positions of great responsibility. Same goes with the army. So if you have friends or family or anyone, or if you've got a friend who's got family in the army or in the police, please share this with them as well. We need our army on our side. We need the police on our side. WINS is another one. WINS is getting so busy. So many people becoming... WINS is the people in New Zealand that look after welfare. And they're becoming busier and busier and busier. More and more people becoming unemployed. And we need to love those guys up because they're going to be dealing with some stressed human beings. And they too are in positions potentially to support us or to not support us, to give us the money or not give us the money. And it may be they're told to give us money only if we're vaccinated or if we vaccinate our children, which is not okay. And we don't want them to be in a position where they actually follow that sort of rule. So we want them to follow their hearts. So we need to love their hearts up. We need to love up the influential people around us. Kia ora, bro! Oh! Shit got real all of a sudden. I told you he was coming. Bro, wait a minute. Welcome to my couch.
Hey,
Kia ora.
mean couch.
Yeah, this is the couch of truth and vulnerability and fun. And I haven't had too much fun tonight until you've arrived.
Oh, well.
I see you got a special book with you.
I've got some books. I've got some books for
I got plural books.
Yeah. Well, I bought the whale wrap.
Yeah.
But I've also got, this bridge
Mr. O'Donoghue.
to my my ancestral whakapapa.
Kia ora.
Yeah. And it's been it's come at a really good time as I explore what it means to be tangata whenua as a Pākehā. And that relationship to the land as someone who doesn't identify as a Māori or can't, but also I am tangata whenua to somewhere, just not here.
Right.
Yeah, even though I've got this mean ass jiggy jersey.
Yeah, you're a multi-dimensional, multicultural fella.
You once told me the story of the symbolism on
Yes,
this jersey.
I think I identified there's lots of mangopare going on there.
Right.
Mangopare being the hammerhead shark.
Yeah.
Oh, look, there's one there.
What's that?
There's one there. There's a mangopare there.
Yeah.
And that's all about strength.
Right.
And of course, in the mangopare, there's these beautiful cordis. I don't know if you guys can see it. He's going to have to get a bit nice and close there. It's very intricate. Lots of koru, being all about new life, new creations, new ideas, growth. And the mangopare is about strong. The hammerhead shark puts up a big fight. But before we continue, ko waikwe.
Ko waikwe.
Yeah, who are you?
Well, my name's Leo. Hi, everybody. And yeah, I'm. Well, we were having this big talk about declaring who you like. I am and my identity
Yeah.
over dinner tonight. And so I suppose what I often say is I'm a storyteller that uses waste to communicate big picture ideas. So yeah, I sort of see the horizon and I try and help steer humanity towards the kind of horizon that might stick around for a bit longer
Kia ora.
than other horizons. Yeah.
Yeah, you've been doing that for a few years in our different communities, eh, bro?
Try.
Yeah, we love having you around. And it's just perfect that my bros dropped in today and we just had a mean feed upstairs.
That was mean feed.
Yeah, and then the best food of the whole gathering was the conversation that happened afterwards. They say, "How te kau te rangatira? What is the food of the chief?" E kōrero. Yeah, it was beautiful. And upstairs we had someone from England, Argentina, Korea, Ethiopia, and all of our ancestors as well. And I think we've got some shared ancestry, surely, from our Celtic roots.
Yeah.
And it was beautiful. So thank you for being here. So I invited the bro down to share some kōrero, share some talk. And soon Carlos will be back and we'll have some music.
You, Carlos.
But I think it would be nice if you introduce us to the blessing book.
Right.
And then I'll get my beatbox on after that for the whale rap.
Cool. It'll be my first time with the whale rap. But
this is the couch of vulnerability.
Yeah. I've got a Renegade show this Saturday that I'm hoping to like maybe do it without the book. So we'll try it with the book and then we'll do it without the book. Yeah, so kind of been I've always kind of like struggle with this notion of like a prayer or a blessing, like kind of like parting the veil with words, and often kind of I never really identified as someone who could or would do that, and now I suppose I'm starting to realize that one of the things that nature really wants for us to pay attention, and often our attention there's this beautiful relationship between attention and gratitude, because if you're really present in a moment, it's quite difficult to not be grateful for something within it, and if you're grateful, then there's something inherent about presence, because you can't really be distracted and grateful at the same time. So that relationship has kind of led me to showing gratitude for all of this incredible, like, broad scope of magic and mystery, and the love that I have for nature. And so I've started to kind of like, have this desire to like have prayers and have blessings and kind of like honor something greater than me with words. It seems that words seems to be the place that I would start. I'm not sure how else you could do that. I mean, I also tend to like build a lot of soil and plant a lot of trees, and that's quite a clear message too. But a little prayer when you plant the tree is also something.
I think it's great, and it sounds like you're coming across prayers that suit more than one occasion.
That's right. So this book that I tracked down, it's called "To Bless the Space Between Us," and it's by John O'Donohue, who is becoming like a bit of a bridge for me between like contemporary life here in Aotearoa as a Pākehā, as a treaty ally, as someone who believes in a better bicultural New Zealand, but also kind of like want to connect with my whakapapa, my ancestral roots, and that has taken me to exploring Celtic indigeneity. And this guy, he's real switched on.
Okay.
And so yeah, he's got like a blessing for kind of all these different things. And one thing that I thought maybe could be relevant is there's one here for love in a time of conflict.
Oh.
And that was one thing that I had a deep curiosity over the last couple of months when people were in lockdown, was how love would be affected. How that kind of mutual connection between humans is broken down when like fear comes in and people aren't able to go out and interact. Another cool one could be honoring Machu's work with like the masculinity. There's one at the threshold of manhood. That could be something pretty cool. What else have we got here? We've got on waking. There's one here for when you pass a graveyard, for courage, solitude.
For an addict.
For an addict.
Wow. For beauty.
For priesthood. For marriage.
Wow. Can we please do the love in the time of conflict?
Okay. Yeah.
Send it out there.
Okay. So we want to nurture a sense of love. Sometimes when it's a bit, sometimes like when it's a bit ouchy, or this is something I'm witnessing a lot in my community. It's that people often feel love even for people that they're in the middle of conflict with. And it's sometimes like a bit of a paradox to hold like these really strong feelings of love and then like, oh, but it's sore. So let's find it.
Okay.
It's number 32.
What a great skill to be able to love in conflict.
When the gentleness between you hardens and you fall out of your belonging with each other, may the depths you have reached hold you still. When no true word can be said or heard, and you mirror each other in the script of hurt, when even the silence has become raw and torn, may you hear again an echo of your first music. When the weave of affection starts to unravel and anger begins to sear the ground between you, before this weather of grief invites the black seed of bitterness to find a root, may your souls come to kiss. Now is the time for one of you to be gracious, to allow a kindness beyond thought and hurt. Reach out with sure hands to take the chalice of your love and carry it carefully through this echoless waste, under this winter pilgrimage, leads you toward the gateway to spring.
I love the bit where he says, now it's time for one of you. Because it only takes one, but quite often when you're in conflict, it's like, you fucking did this. You should be kissing my ass right now.
It's classic. You do it. No, I do it.
Be the one.
Yeah.
Be the one, family.
Be the one.
Be the one. Find a way to break through.
Yeah.
And I think it'd be great if you followed up those great words with a song.
I reckon
with a rap.
No, I want to hear your follow song first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm actually feeling like didn't quite crack the right blessing, and that's a whole nother like skill you got to learn. It's the right blessing for the right time.
I thought it was a perfect blessing for the right time. So much conflict going on out there. Yeah. So much.
Oh, Carlos like this.
We loved it.
Mean.
But we'll give you a moment to get ready for your whale rap.
Yeah.
I'm going to spin around. Me and Carlos are going to jam a song out. Thanks for hanging in there, Internet. Thank you people that are out there. I can't see any comments, but that's okay. It's a new portal, but I can see an eyeball with 11 people.
TIkitiki Tuesday.
TIkitiki Tuesday Tune Up is happening.
TIkitiki. Speaking of TIkitiki.
Oh, we're going to go there. Where is he? There he is. You're looking good, Carlos.
Thanks, Machu.
Yeah.
You're looking good too.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
And you too, Leo.
Oh, cheer.
You always look good. I mean,
I didn't even have a shower today.
We didn't comment on how you're smelling. We
I
said
thought-
you look
No,
good.
I put my gardening clothes and
it's the look,
everything.
not the smell.
Didn't even make it out to the garden.
All right, beautiful people. Thank you for being with us. We're going to reward your attendance with a song. And this is the theme song of TIkitiki Tuesday Tune Up. This is the TIkitiki song. Because we have woken up. Oh, yes, we have. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. All right. Oh, yeah. Yeah. You want to hit something, bro? Oh, yeah. I reckon you can work the frog.
Oh, yeah.
Get in there. We have woken up now. 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 Woken up to the light. We're not gonna play it. With our things, we have woken up now. Woken up to the light. We're not gonna play it. With our things, we have woken up now. Woken up to the light. We're not gonna play it. With our things, we have woken up now. Woken up to their lives, we're not gonna play them. Play our things, we have woken up now. All right.
Jeez. Oh, what's up?
Watch out. I got it.
Uninterrupted. Solo.
Seamless. All right. After me. You can help us out here, please. Mufasa, like this. Sing after me, everybody. Tiki, 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 hey. Tiki, 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 hey. Hey, tama, tu, tama. Hey, tama, tu, tama. Hey, tama, tu, tama. Hey, tama, tu, tama. Tiki, 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 ho. Tiki, 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 ho. Hey, 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 ha. Hey, 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 ha. We are walking up now. We are walking high. We are walking up.
Nice one.
All right. I reckon we should see if we can all fit on that couch.
Yeah.
On the couch, Carlos?
the couch.
We take that little cushion. Oh, yeah. That's
All right.
That's not work.
Are we going to sandwich Matthew? I reckon we should sandwich Matthew.
All right. Matthew sandwich. He's in the end.
This is the best beverage I've had in a long time.
Oh yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, what is it, bro?
Yeah. My neighbor had like heaps of guavas, like they're tiny little guavas, and they got seeds in them, so they taste amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But they got these seeds and they're quite hard, so you can't really eat heaps at the time. But what you can do is ferment them, and with feijoas, and then also heaps of ginger in there.
Oh.
And I put a champagne yeast in,
And
and it just went nuts for like 2 weeks. And then I wrecked it, like I poured like the top, like left like 5% in the barrel, and that was all the murky stuff. And then that into another one, and then that settled, and then I put it into another one with 5 grams of sugar per liter. And then that was enough sugar to get all of the life active again, and put it in a bottle and sealed it. And then all that sugar produces alcohol and carbon dioxide. And what that did is it pressurized the bottle and made it all fizzy, and that's what I'm drinking.
whoa.
So it's like how to turn nature's abundance into fermented beverages, which, when drinking responsibly, it can bring people together,
Kia ora.
Yeah.
I trust you guys got the recipe and the instructions right there.
Yeah,
You can just rewind it on the recorded version and make yourself some deliciousness. Okay. Should we do the whale rap?
I don't know. I'm a bit nervous.
Oh, cool. Well, the first thing I said today was, I'm nervous.
Yep.
Yeah. Are you ever nervous sitting in front of this camera?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am. So let's be nervous together on the couch of vulnerability and truth and fun, because we're going to have a whale rap.
Yeah, well, you know, a lot of rappers out there just talk about how cool they are.
Yeah.
I want to rap about how cool whales are.
Yeah.
Awesome, no?
You can work the frog.
You got the frog. Okay.
You got out of control with the frog just before.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
the best
I
frog
like
song I've ever
sausage
seen
on
in
the
my
table.
life.
You guys missed it.
The frog became alive and jumped away.
It was ruckus.
Okay, what sort of rhythm are we looking at?
Probably like a...
Okay.
This is a story about whales. You know they got flukes, not tails. They're not really fish, they're mammals instead. They blow out of blowholes on top of their heads. They once had legs instead of flukes. Their fins were arms that just hang loose. They're the biggest creatures on land or sea, bigger than the dinosaurs used to be. As you know, there are two main groups. One is baleen and the other is tooth. Baleen eat food with a bristle-like mouth. When the food goes in, it can't get out. The biggest tooth whales are the killer and the sperm. When they catch a squid, just watch it squirm. Dolphins and porpoise are tooth whales too. You may see them jump. It's amazing what they do. It's amazing when they jump. Just see them what they do. The bluest is the biggest baleen of all. The humpback's famous for a song like Call. The bowhead and say are in this group. The favorite fruit is the tiny crew. Birds migrate, as you probably knew. But did you know that most whales do too? Some spend the summer off the coast of Cape Cod, and in the winter time swim south in the pod. South in the pod. Whales must eat to build up their stores, as they live off the fat near tropical shores. Beneath their skin lies a layer of blubber. It's full of rich oils and textured like rubber. Men kill whales for their oil and meat. What? Factory ship is part of their fleet. Japan and Iceland are countries that whale. Some people boycott their products for sale. Saving the whales is a great thing to do, so even our children will see whales too. The Greenpeace group is doing its best. Now let's put ourselves to the same test. For 50 million years, they've managed to survive, but we keep protecting them to help them thrive. If they become extinct, it's up to them. So long, and who's going to sing their song when they're gone? When they're gone.
When they're gone. When they're gone. But they're not. Not yet.
Nah.
Let's look after the whales. Let's keep boycotting people selling whale meat, especially using it for scientific research bullshit reasons.
You know what I reckon's real cool about saving the whales? It's like nowadays the common narrative about sort of sustainability and like saving nature in general is it's about kind of it's the way that it services our needs. You know, like often people be like, oh, you know, we have to keep those trees because, you know, they make oxygen and, you know, climate change. And it appeals to like people's rational mind, and they're like, it's almost appealing to a fear of what they stand to lose if that thing's gone.
Like let's look after water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, then rather than appealing to the fact that they just love them, like people used to just love the whales, and it was like you save the whales because whales are cool, but now you save everything else just simply by what you stand to gain from having it there. Kind of, I wish those back. I wish that old story was there where it was just like, no, that's awesome.
Let's love the whales because we love the whales.
Not because they can help
them
us.
around. Yeah.
Little tweak in the motive.
Got to tweak those motives. Kia ora, you 7 human beings out there. Some people have come and gone tonight, and I'm also aware that some people will be watching this later on. So thank you to everybody that's joining in. It's lovely. It's been quite a vulnerable. This is the couch of truth and vulnerability and fun, and I'm feeling less vulnerable tonight because I've got the bros here and having so much fun. Never done a whale rap.
You've done some whaling.
Whale. Yep. Okay, so today we've been talking about a lot of love, and I'm the Rainbow Warrior, so I just also want to say it's important that we bring the warrior through as well. And I want to say that it's time to speak up, it's time to stand up. It's time to stand up and speak. It's time to find your voice and I'm still refining what I want to say and figuring out why I want to say things. And in the meantime, I'm just speaking in the meantime. And I think that's how I'm refining, is just by, oh, that didn't land well, or that didn't make sense, or I don't want to say that again. And I wouldn't have figured that out if I wasn't speaking, let alone speaking in public. So I think it's really important that we speak and find our voice. And sometimes to know what to speak, we have to do some research. So to educate ourselves about what's going on so that we can share those things. You fellas jump in at any time. I'm just going to go through this list here. We've been going for over an hour now. Oh, we got 8 people. Whoop, whoop. Get creative. Have fun. And potentially go undercover with your communications right now. I was in Whaingaroa, I was in Raglan recently, and there was these posters around that looked like government COVID posters, that yellow sort of line stuff on it. But no, it was actually getting people to be aware and getting people to think critically and people to not necessarily follow the narrative. And I thought that was really clever because it looked like government shit and it was sort of blending in, but it wasn't. And it was quite confusing for some people and quite confronting. And I think confrontation is all good. Otherwise you get lazy. Okay, moving on. Warrior Haka is a tool that I've been promoting for years. And then it wasn't until I was in Whaingaroa on that same trip that young Billy, what's Billy's last name?
Billy Mushroom.
All right.
Billy Roy.
Billy Roy? All right. He's at all our gatherings, young fella.
I don't know how young.
20s.
Oh, Billy, he's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't know his last name.
Billy.
Filmmaker?
Yeah.
Filmmaker.
Yes.
The other Billy.
That Billy.
Yeah, Billy.
Kia ora, Billy.
Kia ora,
Sorry,
Billy.
I've forgotten your last name. But he said he did my haka that I've been teaching at these workshops 40 days in a row, every morning. And I was like, boom! And that bro inspired me, so I've added that to my morning practice.
Yeah.
Haka is a great way to express yourself, but it's a great way to release stuff and to charge up and to activate and to de-stress. And it's also a great way to send a message out as well. So highly recommend your Haka. I will attach links somehow, somewhere at the end of this to quite a lot of stuff, including a free download for my culture course. It's a really simple Haka to learn.
Can we do a Haka?
Woo! Ah, savage. Okay. What, right now?
I don't know. We're promoting Haka by sitting down on the couch.
In the morning. Should we do another one in the morning?
Apparently that's on the list anyway.
We will do a Haka. I'm up for doing a Haka. I think I'd like to sing my last song and then finish with a Haka before I Haka up my voice. You wild thing, Carlos. That's the spirit. So Haka is really great. And for me, I'm sharing stuff online. It's not always making myself popular. I'm getting some backlash. I'm not worried about the backlash. Up until recently, I've started putting love hearts on every comment, whether I agreed with them or not, whether they were following the narrative and telling me that I should shut up or not. I'd give them a love heart. And then the last couple of days, I was like, I'm going to give them energetic love hearts because I haven't got the time to go through and click everything. And then yesterday, I came up with a new concept, which was, I'm actually not going to read the comments. That's my current approach. Apart from I'm sharing a lot of stuff and there's a lot of comments, but some of the comments sort of hit me, and some of them make me feel affirmed and, I don't know, maybe good for my ego or whatever, or make me think, yay, the planet's not fucked. And so that's my current thing, is I'm actually doing my best to not read the comments. I might change. It's a fluid thing. You got any views on that, bro? On sharing on internet? Sharing
Yeah, I kind of stopped getting too deep into the comments too, because it just it cuts into your gardening time and your creating time, and you just kind of realize that I think if you're not going to really change anyone's mind on social media, because everyone's locked into their information silo, and we're all kind of just speaking to our own in crowd, which I think is really interesting, is why why you've started to carry on with the message that you've got is people are going, oh, this isn't harmonious with like the worldview of all of the media that the algorithms reflect back to me. And so you've kind of like, you're like this provocative voice, or like you're like a spanner in the works almost of people's I suppose it's commonly referred to as an information silo, but I suppose another way to describe it would be that we are all in our own little niche of our own confirmation bias, and much is out there like messing people's confirmation bias up,
including my parents.
They're a bit worried, are they?
Oh, yeah. But they're also more worried about the fear of death of this killer virus that's rampaging through the planet.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty scary.
Yeah. Especially when that's what the media is feeding people constantly, is that fear. Yeah.
And you don't trust the media. Wow.
I know.
Oh, trust is it's a hard thing to come by these days, isn't it? Trust in the government, trust in the companies that make the vaccines.
Oh.
Yeah. I certainly don't take well, I mean, another thing that's hard to come by is certainty.
Yes.
And that's one thing that you do have a lot of.
Well, sort of. I started off by saying my disclaimer was I don't know everything.
Right.
And I start off with the song I don't know, because there's lots I'm not certain about. Things I think I know.
Right.
So it's not certain.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a strong think I know.
Your discourses have got a lot of certainty in it.
Yeah, true. But I don't know, you know. I see things and I think, yeah, that resonates as a truth for me.
Yeah.
And then sometimes people go, yeah, here's some real information. What you shared, it's not, oh, okay, fair enough. Yeah. So I'm not always getting it right, that's for sure.
Maybe that's the difference between conviction and certainty. You've got convictions.
I have some convictions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for me, for me, that certainty is a luxury, you know. Like I studied all this kind of stuff, like how the world works, and it just seems that the more I learned, the less I was certain that what I thought I knew was true. And so, yeah, I find it really hard to kind of see things in absolutes.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that's not how it is. It's just how it could be, and it could also exist as the truth alongside these other truths, because the world is just one big giant fucking paradox. And it's not and or, it's often and.
Yeah.
And we could have like this giant, like, kind of overlord plan to control our lives, but at the same time, another truth could be also true, that countries are all acting in their own self-interest, and it's anarchy and chaos, and no one's collaborating at all, and no one can fucking get their shit together to do anything. And some people subscribe to either one of those as a polarized issue, but for me, I'm like, well, they're kind of both true.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of paradox. It's a freaky space. All right. And saying that, I'm aware, you know, with the things that I share, that there's some people, as you said, that they're going to follow what they're following anyway. And I'm also aware that there's this talk about some people are waking up and some aren't and some won't. That's an interesting concept, but I'm clear that there's a lot of people that will stick to the narrative and stick to what the government's encouraging them to do. And God bless them. And they quite possibly will line up for their vaccinations, and maybe if they do, then they will not have any more reason to fear people that don't, because vaccinations are surely going to make you immune. Otherwise, why would you have one? Trust. Anyway, keep the faith. Visualize ourselves as healthy and free. Visualize the world the way you want it to be. I think it comes down to that. How do you want it to be? It's really easy to focus on how you don't want it to be, or I don't want it to go in that direction and have fear around it. So let's get creative and let's create the world that we want. And how about just a couple words, because we're about to wind up. What sort of world do you want, Carlos? Iti te kupu nui te kōrero. That means few words, big talk.
I want a sustainable world.
A sustainable world. Kia ora. Bro?
I would like for a world where the whole is more valued than the individuals within it.
Kia ora. What sort of world do you want? What sort of world do you want? Have a feel into that and not get too caught up on these other stories and these other visions that people are feeding us. And finally, I want to say, I want to balance truth with peace. I want to balance loving authentically and being unapologetically you or me or him or him. And I want to balance determined warriors with being stress-free. I'm really aware that illness comes from stress, so let's just find ways to release stress and be stress-free. What's another way of saying stress-free? Because it's got the word stress in it.
Relaxed.
Relaxed.
Spacious.
Spacious. Calm. Joyful.
Centered.
Centered.
Balanced.
Grounded. At ease. All right. Okay. What was I going to sing last?
I didn't remember my guitar. It was too much, bro.
Too much. Should we just finish with a haka?
We can finish with the Haka. We can play a song on drums
All right.
instead.
I think we do the haka.
All right.
I just want to thank you guys for showing up. You know, time potentially doesn't even exist. So whether you're there live, and I really do appreciate the people that were there live, because if there were no numbers next to that eyeball, I would have been a bit concerned. Nothing was working apart from 3 of us talking to my laptop. So thank you for showing up live. All went from 8 to 9 when I said that. Woohoo! And to those of you that will be watching this later on, thanks for coming in. This has been a really special one for me. It's been really great having you here, bro. Thanks for coming into the valley and dropping your seeds of wisdom and sharing your rap and sharing your blessings.
Yeah.
And thanks, Carlos, for being back here once again. You've done a few of these now. Pretty much every one. You've just shown up. If you remembered what day it was.
Even Tuesday. You often remind me anyway.
I do.
You do.
That helps.
Hey, it's Tuesday tomorrow.
TIkitiki Tuesday Tune Up. We'll do it again next week. I'll see how this ends up working, this going through YouTube. I might go back to Facebook because I didn't get any comments through in that. I don't know, there might be a big bloody pile of them hiding around the corner somewhere. Anyway, you remember how the haka goes, bro?
Kind of.
Yeah, we'll make a V. I'll stand in the front
I'll
and
get in
you
there.
two could sort of stand slightly behind and follow my actions.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Oh, you got a repertoire of haka. All right. Hang on. Get some light on the situation. So this is a haka to send strength and empowerment out to everybody out there so that you can find your warrior, so that you can stand your ground, so you can speak your truth, not worried about what people think or say. All right. Brothers. Come out! Ringa pakaya! Why, takaya! Kaya wait there, mano! Kaya wait there, mano! Mana wahine! Mana tane! whakakotahi, hei, ha, hei. Kaya waite mana, kaya waite mana, mana wahine, mana tane, whakakotahi, hei, ha, hei. Toro no kaiwa ho. Mana tangata, mana penua, mana atua, mana wahine, mana tane, te whanakotahi kia kahara, mana, mana, taku mana! Woo!
Ciao, Billy.
Kia ora, Billy. Kia ora, good call, Carlos. Thank you for me and my bros here in our household upstairs. Thank you guys for putting up with us. And we send you love, send you peace, and share this around if you have the capabilities, because we care and sharing's caring. And oh, look at that.
Hey.
Modi ora.